Hi guys, it's Run Young. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to share with you guys what I believe is the easiest and most efficient way to set the second and third axis on your bow sight using the Brite Site second and third axis leveling tool. And the reason why I like using this tool is because firstly, it introduces very little human error into the leveling process. Everything is mated on machine surfaces, and as long as you get the level set properly, it should be a very accurate way to level your second and third axis. Secondly, you don't require any special type of equipment like a bow vise, and you also don't need a bunch of different levels that you need to mount on various places on your sight, which may or may not be mounted accurately or flush. So I think it introduces less error, and also you don't need much equipment to do it. And the basic premise of using this tool is really very simple. All you have to do is mount your sight onto this plate here, get it nice and flush, nice and tight, and then you're gonna set this level to be perfectly in the center. You're gonna set this level to be perfectly in center using these two screws right here. And after you get those two perfectly centered, you're gonna set your second axis on your sight. So while your sight is laying completely horizontal and flat, you're gonna get that bubble right in the middle on your sight, and then that's your second axis adjustment done. Next, you're gonna loosen this off, and you're gonna tilt your sight up. And your bubble's probably not gonna be in the middle anymore. So you're gonna adjust the third axis, and once that bubble is perfectly level while it's flat and it's tilted upwards, then you know your second and third axis are set in properly. All right guys, so I'm gonna show you guys how to set up the sight now. Pretty simple really. So first we're gonna take these two screws out of this section here and mount them into the sight. Screw it down nice and tight here, and then we're ready to mount this onto the actual tool. Just screw on like this. Now first we want to set the second axis. So it's going to mean the sight being completely level this way. Firstly, I got to check to see if this is level, because the levels in this are actually not accurate on mine. I think I got a defective one. So first we got to adjust this. Okay, that's pretty good. So now the tool I've set level, and as you can see right there, the bubble on the sight is not level. It's just off to the right a bit. So we gotta set the second axis on the sight here. And on my sight, there's just a screw on the back here, which I have to loosen off, or actually two screws, but I'll just loosen off one. And then I'll be able to turn the sight to set the second axis. Okay, perfect. Now that bubble is perfectly centered in the middle. Now I gotta tighten those two screws, and the second axis is set. Okay, now that the second axis is set, I'm gonna tighten everything down once it's all done. We're gonna loosen this here, and we're gonna tilt the sight up at a 40-degree angle. Now we're gonna see if the bubble is still level. And as you can see, it's totally off to the right, so that's where this third axis comes in, right? So when we adjust the third axis, it allows the second axis to be accurate at any angle which your sight is at. So we're gonna have to loosen off these two screws here and set the third axis so that this is perfectly centered. Perfect. So now that I've set the second and the third axis, what should happen is when I loosen this off and I set it level, that bubble should be perfectly in the center like it is now. And if I loosen it off, tilt it down further, it should be perfectly in the center, as you should be able to see right there. Loosen it off again, we tilt it all the way up. As you can see, the bubble is perfectly in the middle. So at any angle you're shooting, you know your bubble is going to be centered properly. So as you guys can see, that tool is very simple to use, and you'll quickly be able to set in your second and third axis on your sight. I think if you're serious about archery, it's a worthwhile investment to make. It only costs about $100. And you can get it off Lancaster Archery amongst other sites. All right guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, please comment, and subscribe for more content.